You know well I'm a chicken fried, and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right.
Hi, my name is Grant Pringer, and I'm here to talk to you today about the passage of the 2014 Farm Bill. So what do you think about when you think of the Farm Bill? Maybe some farmers in Nebraska, maybe some big tractors in Oklahoma, or some corn and wheat fields. But what you should also be thinking about is a bunch of old congressmen in a room debating over amendments for years over something as simple as meat and potatoes for dinner. And in some ways, they're right. Although it's not the most hot topic issue, it still has some big effects on how we supply our country with food and drink. So I'm here to tell you today how the 2013 Farm Bill failed, and then eventually triumphed thanks to a few key individuals. The Farm Bill is basically a term that Congress uses to refer to as the major agriculture bill that's passed every 4 years or so. The majority of this bill includes authorizing nutritional, crop insurance, commodity, and conservation programs. So you might be asking, what's the big deal about a bunch of spending programs based on agricultural needs? There shouldn't be a big deal over this for a few reasons. Everyone loves to eat, everyone loves to drink, and most people are willing to pay for these to be taken care of. But the entire pot of money comes out to be about $956 billion over the course of 2014 and 2023. It's a lot of dough. It goes out to a lot of different people. This is mainly why we care about this legislation. Within that big pot of money, most goes towards four categories: nutrition, crop insurance, commodities programs, and conservation programs. And within the category of nutrition is this little thing known as SNAP. SNAP, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is commonly known as food stamps. Members in the House and Senate, particularly the Ag committees, have been given huge headaches by this policy, mostly for how to allocate the food, how citizens can qualify for the program, and where to spend the money to help these people get back on their feet. And usually, with that much money, comes a lot of interest groups in politicking to try to get their slice of the pie. This legislation is unique because it attracts groups large and small. Big organizations like AARP, Coca-Cola, and Kellogg's can all benefit from this legislation, but so does the American Sugar Alliance and the American Dental Association. Basically, any groups that are invested in health, nutrition, food, or drink are all affected by this legislation. Now that we've explained how the bill works and who it affects, it's time to get down to the showdown of 2013. Remember that little detail I mentioned earlier, the SNAP program? We're back to it. This little program turned out to be one of the biggest pains in the ass for the entire House of Representatives, specifically the Ag committees on both sides. House Republicans, led by Speaker John Boehner, were quick to point out the unnecessary problems with the program. Mainly, they wanted to cut all spending on social welfare programs, and this one critical provision fit that description perfectly. In order for the bill to get passed, the gritty details need to get hashed out in committee. As mentioned earlier, the Ag Committee in the House provided a lot of information for the new Farm Bill. They worked on issues such as health and nutrition, ag research, jobs, infrastructure, safety nets in the cases of drought and economic recession, and conservation. That committee does most of the heavy lifting for the Farm Bill by conducting a large amount of research and oversight after the bill's passage. In addition to the House Ag Committee, the House Foreign Affairs Committee does a lot of work on international commodity trading, credit options for food aid abroad, and U.S. export market development abroad, among other things. Without these two committees, the Farm Bill would not be able to serve its purpose, to help American farmers and ranchers serve both the communities in America and those abroad. The House wanted to cut SNAP by $16.5 billion, while cutting the categorical eligibility provision, where qualifications for one entitlement program automatically qualifies you to receive food stamps. Now, the Democrats really didn't like the idea of cutting food for people who really needed it. This created a big food fight within both chambers of the House. On one hand, you had Republican leadership, including John Boehner, Eric Cantor, and Ag Chairman Frank Lucas, squaring off against the Democratic leadership, headed by President Obama, and fought in the House by Nancy Pelosi and Ag Committee Ranking Member Colin Peterson. Over this critical provision, which provides over $700 billion of aid across 10 years. Being that food consumption and distribution are a bipartisan issue, Congress was able to set aside their differences and come to the table to pass the Farm Bill in 2014. The bill was passed out of the House Ag and sent to the Senate, where a few details were amended and eventually was passed February 4th, 2014, and sent to the desk of President Obama, not to be voted on again for another 4 years. To add to the feel-good story that is the 2014 Farm Bill, there were no significant changes to both the SNAP program and the way benefits were being received. I hope this rundown through the history of the 2014 Farm Bill made you realize how important this bill is to our economy, our Congress, and of course you, the citizens of the United States. Good night, everyone. Cheers, and God bless these United States.